Access to justice is always evolving, and at the Legal Aid Society, we are committed to meeting our community needs head-on. This year, that means expanding into new areas of law that impact everyday people, small claims, and bankruptcy. These services will help more families navigate financial struggles, disputes, and overwhelming debt with dignity and support. On this episode of The Domino Effect, we are joined by Paul Zinowitz, Senior Attorney of the General Litigation Department, to talk about why these new services matter, how they'll work, and what they mean for the future of legal aid. This is The Domino Effect, where we discuss the intersection of our community's top social issues with the legal challenges impacting us all. I'm your host, Jessica Thomas. The General Litigation Department has long been at the heart of legal aid's mission, handling some of the toughest civil cases. Now, with new areas of practice opening up, the department is expanding its reach to meet the needs of even more people. Joining us now is Senior Attorney with Legal Aid Society's General Litigation Department, Paul Zinowitz. Hi, Paul.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent, excellent.
So let's start from the beginning. Tell me how you got to legal aid.
I had volunteered for legal aid for many years, and after some tough decision making, I decided that I wanted to work there, and I spoke to Bethany Barber, and she gave me a job.
Wow. People don't maybe understand that legal aid is a public service for our citizens here in Orange County. Tell us a little bit about what legal aid is in general.
Yeah, legal aid offers legal services to low-income people in Orange County.
Okay. And now when you say low income, is there like a vetting process, a qualifications process?
There is. There's a vetting process that goes through the ask you your income and how many people are living in your house, et cetera.
Wonderful. Now, how long does it take about if someone were interested in looking for your services? How long does it take to get through that process?
It doesn't take more than a couple days typically. Oh. So between the time when they call and the time when an attorney calls them. But it just depends on the volume and what we have in front of you when you come in.
Now, when we say that this litigation department is having new areas of practice, let's start from the basics. What does litigation mean?
Litigation is going to court. It's a fancy lawyer way of saying going to court, being in court.
And the alternative would be transactional?
Transactional, appellate, et cetera.
Now, when people think of litigation, they often think kind of on TV, criminal litigation,
Right.
the great shows, I don't know, How to Get Away with Murder, something like that. Talk to me about what civil litigation means.
Civil litigation is when you're suing for money things, as opposed to the state suing you for some sort of criminal action.
Now, when we say money, I'm thinking also like small claims, you didn't return my lawnmower. Do you guys do that as well?
Sure, there's also injunctive relief, which is a fancy lawyer way of saying to do something or not to do something.
So when we talk about civil litigation, I'm an Orange County resident, I'm watching this. What are maybe, give me your top 5 types of cases that you all handle in general civil litigation?
Sure, we handle a ton of evictions. We handle foreclosure, we handle consumer debt, we handle bankruptcy, we handle small claims. But there's all types of areas. And I think if whatever you need is not in that area, just give us a call. We're happy to talk to you and help.
I love it. Let's go back a second. That's why I was taking a note. Evictions, they have been huge. I mean, what have you seen with legal aid and what kind of services do you all offer? Is it just to tenants? Is it landlords? How does that work?
Yeah, it's just to tenants.
Okay.
Typically, I haven't received any cases with landlords at this point, but I would think that it would be hard for a landlord to hit the income threshold for a low-income person. But we get them at all points, from a 5-day notice to a writ of possession after the eviction's already been entered.
Okay, so they should still give you a call and check and say like, hey, I'm worried about my security deposit. Still give you a call?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. I left my stuff there. Still give you a call?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, when we talk about bankruptcy, to me, I hear bankruptcy, and again, I think like fancy, multi-millionaire person You know, I have 8 businesses and I'm filing for bankruptcy. Tell us what you mean.
So really, we started thinking about bankruptcy. We listened to our clients and the people who were calling in, and we decided there was a big hole in the Orlando market where people wanted to pursue bankruptcy, but they weren't able to pay a private attorney. So that's when Bethany and the people at the top of legal aid decided that maybe it's time that we started looking at this.
Now, when we talk about the new practice areas, tell me what those are and kind of why they came about.
Yeah, our 2 new big practice areas are the bankruptcy and the small claims.
Got it.
We listened to the people, and we knew that they needed help. Between the aftermath of COVID-19, the rising food prices, and inflation, people needed help, and we wanted to be there to help them.
When we talk about small claims, I volunteer at the Self-Help Center, and a lot of the small claims cases, people don't know whether they should fight or how that even works. Do you all give some information, even if that person maybe doesn't qualify? Doesn't legal aid have a lot of resources available for people who maybe have to go at it on their own?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of times that's what we end up doing, right? Is being a resource, giving them information, telling them what the rules are in layman's terms so that a non-lawyer can understand.
Now, people think free lawyer, can I have a lawyer for 7 different cases? How does that work when it's, oh my gosh, I have found my dream law firm. They're going to do my divorce, my bankruptcy, my foreclosure. Does it work like that?
Well, if you qualify, yeah, it could, right? But they're working with different departments. But it's very common for somebody to have a consumer debt claim in a bankruptcy, and then maybe later on get an eviction notice. So yes, we would help them so long as they met the criteria.
I love that. Now talk to me a little bit about when we think of kind of what you do as a senior attorney. Tell me a little bit about your role within the department.
Sure. My job is to kind of keep up on the state of the law, to mentor young attorneys and staff, and to be available for clients to assist.
Now, how many lawyers? You mentioned attorneys and staff. How big is your department?
Our department, I think, has 10 attorneys with myself and Jay. Okay,
wow. And now this is something that, again, when I'm at the Self-Help Center, I want a lawyer, and you and I hear this a lot when people talk about public defenders too. They are lawyers. So for the public who's watching this, we are talking about licensed Florida bar attorneys, correct?
Correct, yeah. So I believe there's 10 lawyers in our department, but I think we have close to 35 attorneys at legal aid at this point.
Wow. And now you're not just giving advice. When we talk back to litigation, you are in court, boots on the ground with them.
Yeah, as long as it's a case that we can help them with. Sometimes it's too little, too late, right? They call after a writ's been issued, and we're advising them. But if there's an ability for us to go to court and help people and a chance for us to win, we're absolutely going to help them.
Now, when we talk about this new area of small claims, a lot of times people don't kind of understand what that end result is. A lot of times they're, thinking that they're gonna be able to stick it to the man. Small claims has a threshold limit, doesn't it?
It does.
What is that limit?
It's $8,000. So it's for claims $8,000 and less would fall into a small claims matter.
Now, does that include their attorney's fees?
No, it's just for the amount in dispute.
Okay. And then when we talk about kind of litigation and going to court with them, there's a preparation. Do you all meet with them? Is there an in-person option that they can speak with you, or just on the phone?
No, it all depends on what it is, right? So if we're going to represent them in court, we're absolutely going to meet them in person, right? But in some situations, we're just advising. So it all depends on the specific scenario before I could say definitively what it would be.
That they should definitely just, if they're concerned, if they have any kind of legal issue, eviction, foreclosure, bankruptcy, consumer debt, even if it doesn't fit within one of those, just make a call.
Absolutely. There's a lot of very nice people at Legal Aid, as you know.
Yeah.
And we love helping. So it doesn't hurt to give us a call, even if the ultimate answer is, hey, we don't do that.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Stay right here. We have a lot more to discuss.
You bet.
Let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. We'll be right back.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
Now let's dive into these new areas of law in more detail and what clients can expect. Hi.
Hey.
Good to have you back. It felt like so long. So we mentioned some big words, right, when we're talking about general civil litigation.
Right.
I want to dive a little more into that for our viewers. We said bankruptcy. Are there different types of bankruptcy? Is there a particular one that you guys handle?
Yeah, there's Chapter 11, Chapter 7, Chapter 13. We only do Chapter 7 bankruptcies, which is a discharge of debt.
Okay. And if they don't know what type of bankruptcy, you guys can help navigate through that for them?
Right. I would suggest that they give us a call and we could talk to them about what the services we offer and potentially what else is available.
Are you seeing a really big push right now? You mentioned that you were responsive to the community for adding this practice area. Has that been a really big push, people in financial struggles?
Yeah, I mean, I think that post-COVID, with the food prices the way they are, with inflation the way it is, people are really struggling financially and they need help. So we've heard from the community over and over again, they're drowning in debt. And that was one of the main reasons we decided to take on bankruptcy and to start helping the community in that area.
We mentioned that sometimes people call you all and all that's left is to try to kind of mitigate that circumstance, give them a little bit of advice. What is your advice of when people should call legal aid? As soon as they have an issue, towards the end of it, when it goes to court, what are your thoughts?
Well, always the sooner the better, right? Like a lot of times people come to us after things have already happened and at the point where we can't do much, right? We can't erase a court order. We can't make a judgment go away. So the sooner the better, right? Education is key, education's power, and that's gonna give them the ability to have more choices to make.
Now, when we talk about kind of that education component, immediately I'm thinking about foreclosure. Some people truly don't understand that, maybe there's a loan modification, maybe you can talk to the mortgage company. They don't know about those resources. When you have been doing foreclosures, have you seen a lot of people just not knowing that there are options? And how do you at Legal Aid try to give them the resources and tools to know there's more than just losing your home?
Well, I think part of being a lawyer is using all these words that people don't understand, right? So people have an idea of what foreclosure in their head is, and all that really is all a foreclosure really is a default on your mortgage payments, right? So people get things confused and they don't know if A is A and B is B and they think A is C, et cetera. So we help to help them to understand it a little bit better so they know what's going on.
Now, sometimes I think people often get nervous about the record keeping, right? Having, what if I don't have my lease agreement for an eviction? What if I don't have a copy of my mortgage? Are those barriers that now I shouldn't even call legal aid because I don't have the records?
No, I mean, again, if you get sued for eviction, I could promise you on the end of the complaint is going to be a copy of the lease because the judge is going to want a copy of the contract that they're suing upon. So I would not let the lack of a lease or contractual document, I would not let that have you not come to legal aid.
I love it. It sounds like my answer all the time is going to be, Jessica, have them still call legal aid.
Yeah.
Have them still call no matter what.
Absolutely.
Talk to me a little bit about evictions. Again, people hear that word. What if it's my cousin who's staying with me? I just really want them out of the house. We don't have a lease. Do I still call you all?
Well, if you want them out of the house, we don't do evictions. We defend people who are being evicted, right? So if you have a cousin that you want to kick out of the house, you're going to probably have to call a private attorney to handle that eviction for you. But if your cousin is in the house and is getting evicted and they want help fighting the eviction, we're happy to help.
And is it still called an eviction, or is it, you know, unlawful detainer, ejection? Are those areas of law that legal aid helps with as well?
We could take a look, right? Okay. Every situation's a little bit different, so it's hard to say across the board whether we're going to take everything, but please reach out to us and we're happy to take a look and at least send you in the right direction.
Now, here's another thing that comes up. Let's say for general civil litigation, what if both of the parties are calling legal aid? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, if there's a conflict, we can't represent both, right? So before we begin representation of anybody, we run a conflict check on both the plaintiff and the defendant to see if there's any conflicts there. If there's a conflict there, we're going to send you to a coverage counsel or to Community Legal Services or another organization that can help with this.
Now, when we say conflict, back to what the viewers may or may not know, conflict, what does that just mean?
It means that the parties, it means a lawyer handles a lot of confidential information, right? So if we have both sides' confidential information, then is it really confidential, right? So we have to make sure that there's no conflict between the parties, meaning that we're not representing both sides.
Absolutely. Now, when we think of plaintiff defendant, again, words they may not know, the plaintiff in civil litigation is the person moving the case. Is that right?
The plaintiff is the person who files the lawsuit.
Got it. And then the defendant is the responsive person.
Defendant is the person who's being sued. Correct.
Can there be more than one defendant?
Absolutely.
And so, again, for our viewers, so that they can hear it, you know, maybe they're all being sued. What kind of general civil litigation would you say? Are there like business disputes that you guys handle?
Yeah, business, and that goes to the small claim question, right?
Got it.
Right. So small claims action is anything under $8,000. So that's anything from a contractual dispute where you have a written contract to an agreement between two people to sell a baseball card or a piece of memorabilia or something like that, and the party's not getting, one side or the other not getting what they think they bargained for.
Now, sometimes we have people definitely in our demographic and viewership that they need some special assistance, whether that's on the phone, maybe they have a special need or a disability. Do you all have some accommodations available that people can help, people with who maybe are deaf or need assistance, they're blind? Do you all have that kind of accommodation?
Yeah, absolutely. I regularly am making calls with a translator on the phone from everything from Spanish to Russian to Ukrainian.
Wow.
And the same goes for people with hearing impairments. Yeah.
See, I think that's something people don't know is that, and what would be a deterrent? You know, like, oh, well, they can't help me. I don't speak.
Absolutely.
You know, that's not my first language.
Right.
But that's wonderful to know. Do you also have attorneys on staff that can assist with a translator as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we have a translation service that we use,
Nice.
But we also have Spanish-speaking attorneys because obviously there's such a high rate of Latin people in Florida.
I love it. So now when we think of legal aid, you know, getting just to the nut of how amazing it is what you all do. When we talk about choosing this kind of, you know, option as a client that I'm out there, how can you kind of assure people, and it's kind of to my question, like with public defenders, let in the know they're getting the best representation. These are lawyers with 10, 20 years of experience, right?
Right. So
would you say that definitely everybody is well-versed, well-trained on everything that happens there at Legal Aid?
Yeah, we have different departments and everybody kind of specializes in their own thing, right?
Yeah.
So there's definitely people who specialize in different things and they're getting excellent attorneys. Many of our attorneys have 15, 20 years experience. So you're in good hands.
That's what I wanted them to hear. I love that. I'm going to end on that note. You are amazing. Thank you for all that you're doing for our community and for people to know what they can get services with general litigation, these two new areas of bankruptcy and small claims. It's incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for what you're doing there.
I appreciate you.
And thank you to our viewers for tuning in. I'm Jessica Thomas, and this is The Domino Effect.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
For over 60 years, the Legal Aid Society has provided legal representation to clients on issues like those discussed in today's episode. Our mission is to ensure that every member of our community, regardless of income, has access to high-quality legal support and justice. If you're facing a legal issue, don't hesitate to reach out to the Legal Aid Society of the Orange County Bar Association by calling 407-841-8310. As a nonprofit law firm, we rely on dedicated volunteers and generous donations to continue our work. To learn how you can get involved, visit legalaidocba.org. Thank you for watching The Domino Effect, and remember, perpetual goodness goes a long way. Until next time.